Thank you. This is a lively group we have here. And
welcome to the Park Theater.
Oh, anyway.
That was a joke.
My name is Arian Blanco.
My name is Dawn Rodriguez.
Hi, my name is Joe Conklin.
My name is Emily Tavares.
Union City, a bustling, busy, and multicultural melting pot. The home of every Hispanic comfort one can imagine was not always this way. The area in which the Park Theater currently sits was home to other theaters, some of which had more notoriety than others, the two most notable being the Lincoln Theater and the Hudson Theater. The first of that duo might be familiar to many of you, because it's now the supermarket we all call Mi Bandera. The second, the Hudson, leaves behind only an empty vessel of where it once stood. And yet, against all the odds, the Park Theater lives on, remaining the only theater still standing in what was once a mecca for the performing arts.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martin Nietzsche. I have been a violin maker for past 25 years. Came to this country right after 9/11. I arrived, I was working for this company in Midtown Manhattan at René Morel Gradumat, where I was restoring rare violin until today.
And how did you come about the Park Theater?
The Park Theater actually came through a customer who I donate several violins. So I came here and I saw this beautiful theater and I said, wow, what a beautiful space they have. Also, it would bring me a chance to try out the instruments on the stage of the theater. Back in 2015 when I came to this theater.
So how long have you been here now? That's 10 years, right?
That's basic, yeah, it's almost 10 years. As a present, I am a custodian. I take care of the maintenance and report all potential people who are interested in in running the theater.
Martin has essentially become the de facto custodian for this building, being one of the only individuals to try and maintain the original majesty of this building's form. Now, a lot of you might be familiar with him. He's usually riding around town on that thing. But he's not the only person who's responsible for trying to maintain the continued survival of this building. No, that credit goes to a very particular individual who's been doing it since the early 1980s. An individual who has answers to a lot of the pivotal issues that this building faced from 40 years ago, 30 years ago, and forward. And to get those answers, well, we had to go down the shore.
Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear words they're saying, only the echoes of my mind. People stopping still.
All right, Father Ash.
Sergio, pleasure to meet you.
Sergio.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
So when did you first get assigned to the Park Theater?
In 1982, I was supposed to be a problem with the parish. The previous pastor said he couldn't handle it. I was asked to go up to figure out what to do. And at that point, one of the components was the Park Theater. And when I walked in, it was dark, just like you had talked about seeing it now. And there was no lights in it. And finally the pastor said, he took on a little light, and they said, oh my God, what do you do with a place like this? Okay. And that was the starting point.
Right.
And what I was able to do is to go out and find people who understood theater. And of course, next in New York, we had all kinds of people living in the area who understood things. And they came in, and I discovered we really had a jewel of theater, and it was the last of its kind in Hudson County.
Mm-hmm.
So that started the program, and then I was lucky that the Hudson County College came in, they rented space, and they rented the top of the Park Theater, which had classrooms, and the park of the school. So I was able to now split the income and put some money into the Park Theater for the first time in years.
Wow.
After that, we began to say, if we're going to make something out of this, we had to set up a not-for-profit corporation where we separated the operation of the Park Theater from the church. All the revenues that were made by the Park Theater stayed there, and everything was operated under the title of the Park Theater Performing Arts Center. But the whole part of it is we began to say, this, if we're going to make this work, we have to begin to advertise, and we got people to rent the place. Of course, with Union City, there were so many different groups that wanted to come in and present something from their background. So that became a very important thing. And then we encouraged local groups for theater. The Park Players was the name of it, if I remember right.
The Park Players is a community theater group. We've been together for 40 years that began here in the Park Players, in the Park Theater, and that's why we're known as the Park Players. We're named after the theater itself.
And what's the origin of the Park Players? And I know you said that you guys started here, but what's the specificity of your relationship to this building?
Well, to the building is that Father Ash had asked us if we would like to start a company, a community company that they would like in the theater as a resident company. And we said yes, we would. We thought it out. And the group of us got together, and we figured what we would do, we'd have access to the community, since most of the people that were on the board were teachers. And the board was made up of 13 of us. And so we were affiliated with the community, as I said, so we could help with the schools, bringing them in as well so that they would be able to see the entertainment.
The Park Theater has faced many financial and existential hurdles, practically since the day the doors opened. Now, its main attraction has always been the Passion Play.
I think the story of Christ is fascinating. No matter what you believe in him, it's a fascinating story. He has captivated the thinking of people for centuries.
For the kingdom of God is dead.
What created a problem is that what built the Park Theater was the Passion Play. And when I got there, I looked at it and I said, this is a part of the folk art tradition of the area. And so I would write down to the Arts Council, this is the part of it's folk art. We're continuing this thing. And of course, their tension was, they wanted to become like Broadway. And that was number one. And also the other part that was in it, they said, well, this is religious. We can't fund it. I said, hold now. Are you going to ban anyone for playing Handel's Messiah at Christmas? It's banned in the state, and you'll never fund it. Of course, they jumped. And they said, oh my God. They didn't, And that was the tension. And they just saw it as being part of the church, rather than being something that was really for the community.
Right.
And we separated it.
Despite its hazy fate, the Passion Play once drew massive crowds into this auditorium. In fact, it's the whole reason this place was built.
The sticking point was specifically the Passion Play, which is the story of Christ. And the Park Theater had like this sort of mantra of having the longest running Passion Play, at least in the country, if not the world. And it gets tricky because Father Ash, an actual Catholic priest, was also at one point the executive director. Park Performing Arts Center, PPAC, right, was its own nonprofit Ultimately, Father Ash sort of stepped back, and a full-time administrator was hired. And I think that's what sort of cleared any issues with state government in terms of, hey, this is an arts and cultural institution first and not some kind of religious facade.
You were also part of the Passion Play, correct?
Passion Play, yes, that's a family group. It was such a wonderful, and you know what it was? We were doing something religious, doing something we all enjoyed, and community enjoyed it. We had busloads of people that would always come, and it was so family-oriented downstairs. There was always fresh donuts from the local bakery, and all the families getting along and going out after, and supporting, and costume making, and it was a memory.
To say the park has seen the faces of much sage talent is quite the understatement. Generations across the spectrum have danced on this very stage, sweating away onto the boards below them. And many of them have an incredible reverence for the building that we sit in today. So much so that when this documentary entered production, they wanted to come see it. They wanted to be a part of it. And it's quite emotional for them.
My name is Dawn Rodriguez. I am 60 years old, and my affiliation with the Park Theater was that I used to have my dance rehearsals here.
Okay.
I was probably between 5 and 6. I was a tall, gangly kid, and my mother put me in dance so I would stop falling.
My name is Emily Tavares. I'm 19, and I danced for 13 years.
I remember is the emotion of it, the excitement of getting dressed and being in costume.
Whatever theater they performed in, I would always say like the dressing rooms were the better part, only because that's where you get to connect with like the people that you're dancing with, the people you're sharing a stage with.
Yeah.
But we're all like clamored faces like this close to each other, trying to put our makeup on.
Wow.
Honestly, like, not to this day, but for a pretty long time, a lot of those people stayed my friends even after.
From my standpoint of view, when I walked in, all the memories came. Everything came back. All the feelings, all the ghosts, they're all here. There's so many beautiful memories of my family and other families and the kids just watching these audiences, filled with kids seeing these shows that they love to do. Getting everyone from the entire school system involved. It's beautiful memories, and you can feel it.
Because of it, I got interested in art in a way that has sustained me personally and spiritually to this day. Because of my interaction with this theater and being in residency, I met my wife. She came out to see one of our plays.
The Park Theater, a monument of art's past and present. Here, it sits still, creaking every now and then, waiting for its day back in the spotlight. Now, you may have waltzed past this place multiple times throughout your life, on your commute, maybe every other day, wondering what sits behind that gargantuan brick facade. Well, this is it.
The building, it really looks still okay. It just needs some sprucing up.
Would you support a movement to have this place resurrected?
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. My theater company, and I know other theater companies in the area, just even the dance studios, there were so many wonderful dance studios that walked through here and had such wonderful memories with their families as well. These dance studios, the shows would run all day, and we would help out with the concessions, and it was awesome. It was awesome. We need that back in society today. We need a park theater to bring everybody in the area back.
I would love to see this turned back into a theater. It would be great to come see a concert here. It would be great to see stand-up comedians here again. Like, it would be nice to have our own little piece of someplace to go, you know, instead of spending $200 on tickets to go to New York.
I actually hope there would be more people like me who would like to bring some of their skill to the theater and maybe share the skill with the community and be noticeable again, like the old days when it was famous as Passion Play Theater.
I almost thought I would never step foot in this building again. So
How does it feel to be back?
Like old times.
Yeah.
Let's do a play. Let's put up a show.
Right now. Right?
I'm ready. My favorite time is showtime.
All those stories and anecdotes of the days of yore are lovely reminders of what this place used to mean to the community, the joy that it brought to people's lives. But on the contrary, it's also a very, very bleak picture of what the future brings. This building has fallen into disrepair. The ceiling is cracking, there's water damage in the basement, paint chipping almost everywhere you look. Cobwebs litter the entire premises, and there's missing equipment all throughout the backstage. It's in dire need of some kind of help. Now, we've established a petition so that you might be able to sign and help and bring attention to this theater's absolute need for repair. Now, the Archdiocese still owns this place, but it seems like most of their staff or the people working for them are not really concerned or aware that this place is here. The local government considers this essentially obsolete. So our options are very, very few. But the only thing that we can do is make it known that we are aware that this is here. So I ask you, please, this place needs your help. We did actually want to show you how these work rather than just give you a static presentation of these pulleys.